welcome back. I'm Jay.
I'm TJ.
And this is Not Quite Nerds.
Not Quite Nerds. In this episode, we're talking about the creative process.
Yes.
We're specifically going to be talking about our own.
Sorry. Our own. Everything that we talk about in this podcast is about our own, so
sorry.
Don't murder
If you don't
us.
like that, this might be the wrong place for you.
Anyway, so we know every creative have their own process. Mm-hmm. Other people start with a vibe. Other people start with like a Pinterest board.
Yeah.
And then other people just want to get straight into the editing and please like don't make me do anything. Don't make me do any pitch decks. Just let me edit. And then some people also feel really strongly about what editing software they use.
Yeah.
You can fight it out in the comments.
We use Adobe and we hate it.
And we also, I use DaVinci as well. But yeah, in this episode, we're going to talk about the creative process from idea to execution and everything that's fun in between.
Yes.
So if you're interested, stick around.
So our first question, obviously going into the process of making something, there's pre-production, post-production, the middle production.
Actual production. Yeah.
The question is, what part of the process do you most enjoy and what part is the hardest for you? Go, Jay, tell us all.
Okay, it depends on the project and depends what my role is in the project. Overall, funnily enough, I actually enjoy pre-production with the like bouncing ideas, trying to get, it can be quite frustrating point as well, depending on like what kind of ideas you're fighting for and everything. But yeah, I like that. I like the scheduling. It feels like a puzzle, trying to figure everything out. Like, okay, this is where this person's going to come in and they're going to do this. When I've been involved in the script writing, that's been fun as well. Scary, but also fun.
Both from scripting in terms of like
as the person
full thing and also like just small scripts where it's like figuring out beats.
Just copywriting in general.
Yeah.
It's like it's fun but also scary.
Does that also go into your thoughts on storyboarding as well?
Yeah, storyboarding,
because I guess it's like a kind of script.
It's like for me, I mean, what I've experienced is we've done the script and then we storyboard. I probably prefer storyboard more. So I do enjoy pre-production. I guess my overarching thing is pre-production. I love going into a shoot with a strong plan because then you can maximize your time when you're at the shoot. I enjoy directing. Yeah. That is fun for me because it also feels that feels like problem solving and you're bringing something to life. Yeah. And I don't think I mind. I do like editing. It's weird to say I don't like editing when I'm doing a lot of editing nowadays.
It's basically all it is.
What's one? What is what I don't like? Location scouting.
I love that.
I love it if it's great places. But if it's like we worked with someone who we needed like some epic like mountain locations, right? And he was on Google Maps and he was literally like traveling the mountains through Google Maps being like, that's a good spot and that's going to be good. And then we went
and now
there.
How are we going to get there?
Yeah. So,
hiking. But
like he took a lot of time, like just going, okay, here's a farm. Oh, that looks like a farm. And just do like, that is wild to me. And obviously physically doing that, I'm like, it's definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. How about you?
And especially because idea to reality on that stuff is so much harder because the reality is you'll be able to find the right cutlery you want with the right amount of budget. Like you could purchase that really expensive cutlery. It's just about finding another solution versus location. It's like what I see in my head does not exist.
Yeah.
So that's...
Yeah, you're trying to make something that you see in your mind.
Like a mountain is actually like very easy, especially in New Zealand. Like we're very lucky in that respect. But like if you want somewhere so specific, you're like, the house is not right because the door is not close to the kitchen at all. But the door is right.
That's why in Hollywood they build their doors and their sets and everything.
And also why location scouters are a legit job. Yeah. For me, I feel like my favorite part is I feel like ideation part is not really part of any of this in the sense that
this is pre-production.
It is pre-production, but it's almost like pre-production because it's like we don't even know what we're doing yet.
That's why pre-production is so massive.
It's like from the whiff of an idea to the start of the shoot, that's like all your pre-production process.
Yeah.
So it could be 2 days, it could be 6 months. Like the reason why,
and then your shoot is 2 days.
Oh yeah, totally. And like the reason why you see on a movie, we're like, the movie is in production, that means that they've decided how much all the money is going to be. So there's already pre-production before they even say that.
Yeah.
And then there's a year before they even get on set, you know, like, all of that goes into all of that part. But yeah, I think my favorite part is we've decided what cups we're going to use. We've decided what Christmas tree we want in the shot. We've decided the X, Y, Z, and now we're going out and buying it, or we're deciding the right one and like, I like that one better than this one, or finding the right clothes. I love that part of the process because it's coming together, but it's not as daunting as being there on the day.
Right. Okay.
You know, because it's like, for example, it could be the reverse of the thing that you bought is the wrong size. You know, that side of it is part of the shoot day, but it's also like I'm not even worried about that minutia once we get there, because it's already the decision's been made already. Yes, and also like it's not important anymore. The most important thing is getting the shot so that we have something to walk away with. So I do think that part the shoot day I always struggle with because it's hard. I say shoot day because I think it's the easiest way to talk about a production. I think on a design level, the pre-production and the post-production and production are all they all kind of go into each other. That's why I'm using like shoot, like a film shoot as the way to do it, because I think you can bring the insight into the design side of things as well. Yeah. Like in design, let's say, what part of the process? Is it the gathering inspiration, or is it like making the thing now, or is it inspiration and none of the rest of it? I hate the achievement side of it, because like versus animation, when I do animation work, I find that very like intriguing, bringing it to very life, mechanical to me. Trying to figure it out and merging those effects and those YouTube tutorials together is very intriguing to me. But when it's like achieving design, I find it very taxing because it's a lot of just not working. Like it just is a lot of it trying to figure it out and it not making sense. Trying to be like, does this look good? Yeah, does this and look it kind good? Of just doesn't work until it works. So it kind of is a weird process to be in that respect. So that's why I say it also feels like none of it, because I've been in things where we have achieved it that immediately after we've had our first meeting, and like there's just little tweaks. But then I've also been on the other side where it's like we're doing it the day that it's meant to be done, you know, and that has been really, really, I'm going to use the word taxing, because it feels like you're watching the time just tick by, and you don't you can't do anything. Like, you just got to keep going and keep picking and like tweaking and cutting and getting rid of. Like I've been in projects where we've got to 100%, well 99%, and then the person, you know, that's making the calls has decided it's wrong. Yeah. And was right, you know, like it's not a negative, it's like it's not right. So we need to go back to the drawing board, and done that multiple times. Yeah. And like every single one looks so different from each other, and it's obviously that we're not getting something that the creative director is trying to compute, right? And the more we try to pick at it and fix it and tweak it, it's going further and further the wrong direction. But yeah, I say that to say design is a little bit harder because I don't know, once you've got picked the font, there's not really else. Well, I think it comes back. I think it also like I said at the very start. And it comes from your references, right? Yeah, you've got all your good references. But like I said at the start too, it's like, depends on what the project is, depends on what you're, you know, like there might be some projects where it is really fun outworking the idea because the concept itself is exciting. Yeah. And like you actually get to do like creative problem solving as well. Okay. So going back, focusing on pre-production, you know, you talk about, we talked a little bit about like the mood board and the ideation side of things. What does your mood board or idea gathering process looks like? So it's like, let's say we've got a brief now, you know what you're trying to achieve, you know what the audience is, you've got a brief, and then now you need to make it happen. Into an idea. What does that look like? What does that process look like for you? Not the actual making it happen, but like the mood board, the idea gathering. Yeah. Like let's say you're about to make a pitch. I love pitching.
Yeah.
I think, to be honest, that's my favorite part of the process.
Yeah.
I should have said that. I don't know why I didn't say that. Because it is everything. It's sourcing, you know, the idea of what the film could be, even though it's not like the final idea, because the film guys will take it and do something with it.
Yeah,
but it's
yeah.
This is how I
It's
envision
like
it
the
working.
pitching is like, it's like everything that you get excited about before anyone else has to like almost like critique or approve anything.
Yeah. It's like laying
It's
all the
like
idea
just
could
before,
be.
What it
Like
could
this
be.
is what it could be from my perspective.
Yeah,
this is what I
yeah.
want,
And you're
what I
excited
would
about
like.
it. Yeah, cool.
I think that it again, it depends on the type of project.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of the time I just go off vibes, and I'll have something that's vibey. So it might be like visuals, don't even care. The feeling I get when I watch that movie, that's what I want to communicate.
Yeah.
Visuals, tone.
So like,
all of
how
that
do you
computed
do
into
that
one.
based on like the brief? Like, how
Well,
do you
so
know
I
what the
kind of
vibe
then-
is?
So then what I would go, so for example, if I'm like Blade Runner 2099
But
is
what
the
makes you
feeling,
think? Yeah, but what?
I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
It's just that word when you said this with this. It's
Right,
like
right, yeah.
futurism. So-
That's
and
what it
then
makes me think
I'm
of.
like, I
Yeah.
want that feeling, but I want the visuals to be more energetic or less grungy or whatever it is. So then I will kind of like use that as a jump off point, because most of the time that feeling is not even what I end up trying to portray, but I use that feeling as a good way to understand what I could do that also is unique and not just a copy of the thing. And so then you kind of can pull these parts together, and usually it forms a new feeling that I feel even more strong about.
Yeah.
By being like, these visuals I feel like communicate way better what we are wanting to do. From there you can make 10 Pinterest boards and find
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of actually sourcing stuff, I go as far and as wide as I can, from screenshotting a movie to Instagram. Like, I love seeing ads and stuff, and like, you have to do so much work to save an ad to your favorites. Like, you have to go all the way around.
I've seen so many ads that I'm like, I need to go watch that again, but I'm like, I have no
It's
idea.
gone. It's gone.
I don't want to screen record. It's too
crazy.
much. Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, it's all of that sort of stuff. Like, I try to source as much as I can, because I think it also just helps you hone in, because so many times I've like cropped a screenshot to like, this is the vase I want, and it's like in the background of the movie.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, okay, like,
Yeah.
I guess, but it's like, but that's the feeling.
Yeah,
it goes
yeah,
to
yeah.
the feeling. Okay, this one's for the vibes, but this one's for the feeling.
Yeah.
Anyway, what about you?
I don't get to work on pitches as much as you've had time in the
Usually
pitch world.
design kind of goes first, because
Yeah.
the process needs to start earlier.
Yeah.
In terms of execution, but
yeah, but whenever I have had to, I mean, I obviously I go on Pinterest, but it's just, for me, especially recently, it's just deteriorated so much. Like, it's actually so crazy, and it's so crazy how much of the results is AI. Like, there was, like, and it's so not disheartening, but it's just so frustrating to go in there trying to find like, okay, here's the vibe, and it's like your search becomes the prompt, and then it's like,
especially in the
yeah.
D&D world, if you're doing anything D&D
yeah,
related.
but even like the other day, I was telling my husband, like, this is the house vibe. So I searched it, and then I was like, oh my gosh, that's what I want. And then it opens, and it's like AI adjusted or whatever. There was a tag, and I was like, oh my God, like,
kill everything.
So Pinterest, but now in moderation.
Yeah.
Really trying to find,
Other
and
avenues
one
for
thing
that.
I like about the Pinterest thing when it wasn't AI a lot was like, I would go an initial search, and then and I know people do this, but like, I'll find something, and you remember, when you open it, and it will like also suggest even more, and you go kind of
suggestions for the board.
Yeah, it like niches down.
Yeah.
the deeper
Fully.
you
I mean,
go.
that's kind of why I say going on feeling is important, because once you get one reference, you're away.
Yeah,
I feel like you're away, especially if you can hone that skill.
Yes.
If you're like, I've got typography in 2 colors, that's all I need.
Yeah.
You can find all
But
the rest.
I think my thing is, I
that way.
try to do like, I got taught by one of my heroes to be like, go broad strokes, like don't focus too much on the details.
Fully.
When I go, like, for example, when I go into Pinterest, I'm like, okay, this is a vibe, this is a vibe, this is a vibe, and then I'm like, that's a completely different vibe, but let's grab that, and then I go through, and then like I cull it down. I really want to build my stock in my brain as well, like
brain stock.
my references.
Yeah.
But one thing that probably, it's not part of my usual process, but something that I'm like, ooh, I'll just flag that as inspiration, which is kind of interesting to me, is Whenever, okay, this is too niche, but whenever we're on holiday, technically at the batch, but whenever we're at the batch, this is the only time that I watch TV like this.
Okay.
And I'll see a lot of like sports ads.
Okay.
And
with ads and stuff, because usually we're
and like
watching
the way they play with type,
Yeah.
and like I'm like, oh, interesting transitions,
Fully.
or like it's probably the most where I'm like locked in, where I was like, oh dang, that's really
That's
interesting.
why I love YouTube, because YouTube actually gives you ads versus, like TV nowadays. Very rarely.
Yeah, this is
watching an
TV.
ad.
This is TV though that I'm watching.
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what
yeah.
I mean. Like TV doesn't have ads most of the time, so that's what you're saying.
Yeah. So sometimes I'll that's not part of the mood board.
No, I know what you mean, but it's like
idea
inspiration.
gathering. That's
Yeah.
kind of it. So I'm trying to move away from relying on Pinterest.
Mm-hmm,
So I will try to do that. I don't. I used to go into Behance, but it's kind of like basically
I
I'm
found
looking.
it harder to find things on Behance than when you have Pinterest. I mean, I feel like I've built my Pinterest brick by brick to not have AI in it. I'm very lucky, because most of the stuff I look for on there isn't, at least at the moment, isn't being replicated on an AI kind of thing.
Yeah.
At least from what
I'm like looking for like homewares, and then it's like,
see,
here's a nice house.
I'm not looking for that.
Yeah.
Thankfully, I'm not seeing that at the moment. But yeah, I mean, Instagram is actually a really good place. I follow
Insta
way
as
too
well.
many people.
Yeah, I actually on the process thing, we talked about this last time, but we had a video that we filmed. TBC if it's got posted or not. But watching TJ's process was really interesting, because he has like a saved folder on Instagram, and then he's just like he can just go in there and he's like, I like that guy's style, so I'm gonna go in and I've got his Instagram. I like this person's style, or I like this concept or whatever. And it's kind of like you've basically built your own kind of stock library
of people. I mean, I also try to remember artists' names as much possible, so that I can like even search their name, and then kind of from, like you're saying, from Pinterest, find them, and then suggested posts on their style.
Yeah. Okay, next
I
question.
just have a crazy ass brain, I guess. Okay, so the next question is about admin. Now, I know that admin is super, super important, but I know that Jay actually is good at it. So there's two very different things. So I want to ask Jay about her admin process. I know for me, like we've talked about kind of pre-prod, post-prod, prod, production, if you're not getting the shortened version.
Yeah.
But admin is a super important part of that. Mm-hmm. I definitely think we've been very lucky in our learnings of process to have admin people in our world, or creative admin people in our world, that understand what is needed from a shoot day or a shoot schedule, or all of those different things to, I guess, figure out how it can go and the benefits of all of those things. But for you, what is the most important part about admin to you? How have you learn, like what are the touchstones for you in terms of like learning the process of admin, and how to integrate it into your process?
Ooh.
And yeah, like what are all the things that you've, even just telling people what is important to have for a schedule?
Oh,
all of those things. Sorry, I'm giving you like 12 questions and one question.
That's actually crazy, because that's wild. So this is pre-production admin, everything administrative.
Yeah.
First of all, shout out to the admin creatives brains who keep creatives alive and sane.
Managers.
Managers.
Time managers.
Actually, you keep the world spinning.
Thankfully, because we'd just all be drowning otherwise.
It's funny because I feel like, for me personally, I feel like I was like forced or thrust into the admin brain.
I mean, Jay writes a great to-do list. Jay writes a great shoot schedule. She's great at all those things.
But
I do think in the beginning it was like, huh?
Yeah. Literally.
And then after a while it was like, I guess
I
can do
wait,
that.
I can use this. Like,
well,
it
you're
was
doing good at a run sheet.
Yeah, and I think that developed a little bit. Yeah. So I think it's like that. It's a combo of like the event experience and going, okay, this is how to keep time. Mm-hmm. And then like apply it to like a shoot context. Yeah. I think my brain works time-wise within that context. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But like, tell me anything else related to time, it's probably no.
Oh yeah, she's a bit time blind.
Apologies.
I mean, in a very different way to me. Mine is more like I see it coming and I run straight ahead. Jay doesn't see it.
I'm like, oh.
I'm running into the wall. Jay didn't know there was a wall.
But anyway, I'm great at admin apparently. So
no, you're great. That's why I think you're also good at it, because you know that if you're not like going through and figuring it out, it's gonna muck you up in the long run, and it's gonna be worse for everybody because you didn't get things done.
Yeah.
So it's helping yourself out.
For me, like for pre-production, like I really value the admin side of the pre-production because as fun, it is really fun, like the ideation, coming up with a storyboard, you know, like having the scripting and everything, but then working out like, okay, and these aren't like gigantic shoots, by the way. These are just like in our experience where it's like, okay, this scene is gonna take, like having to suss out how much time is this scene gonna take. I actually enjoy that part of going, okay, this scene is gonna take this much time, and then making sure that there's breaks. So even like when we do this podcast or when we film for our like reaction videos, we always have a schedule and we break it down, and
it's always the night before. It's never 10 minutes before.
To me,
we go pretty hard for something that is just for us.
And it's chill, right? It's chill. But to me, like for me, there's more freedom when you have a plan. And then you know what the plan is, but then on the day, you're more free to deviate from the plan because you always have the rails to come back on, and you always like have a target finish time or a target break time, and
you know what you need to achieve, so you can kind of decide whether, you know, this new idea is more important than one that you're meant to be doing right now. And also, like you said, like going off the rails is only good when there's rails to begin with. Like if you're just
otherwise you're in just the middle of the desert.
Exactly. You're in the middle of the desert and you're trying to get back home, but home doesn't exist.
So to me, like I do enjoy that part, and I love having that on actual production days. And
how do you do that? Like in terms of like you know a scene, you know what is expected of a scene. How are you breaking it down? Are you going line by line in a script? Are you trying to just figure it, like, is it just maths in your head? How does it work for you?
So we've worked on projects where it is like more of a narrative base, where it's like going from location to location. So obviously, you know, okay, once you've determined we have this location on this day for this long, then you go, okay, everything that happens in that location, we put together
working
there.
backwards.
Well, you work backwards, and then you also go, okay, we finish at this time, so what's the most important scene? And then also, then the next day, this is what's gonna happen. So so I actually love the puzzle side of that, of going, okay, what? So
Tetrising it all in there to make it work.
And then it's like, when's the call time of the art department, and then the actor, and then when do we release the actor, and all that. Like, it's wild, but then it is fun. Yeah.
Especially like we've been on shoots with kids. We've been on shoots with people that are coming off their lunch break, you know, like, and so you really do have to Tetris that stuff in to make it work, because it's like you want to respect their time, but also get as much as we can have from them. They're getting off work at 5 o'clock. We have till 5:30 at this location. We're going to be shooting every single one of their scenes in 30 minutes.
I mean, talking about like admin as just scheduling, but that's just one aspect of it that like I enjoy as well. Something that we didn't really do as much or weren't in the thick of is like, what is it called? Like, not vouchers, waivers and all those things.
Yeah, like NDAs. Which,
those are like important as well. But yeah, that's kind of like
that was the HR team.
That's like that. But the scheduling is fun for me.
Run sheets and all that stuff.
All that stuff. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah.
Thanks for your brain, Jay.
Okay. Whatever. Okay. Next question. How do you balance the plan? Okay, so we talked about, we've got a schedule. Everything's, set up. This is what's going to happen. The rails are there.
Yes.
Then how do we balance the plan versus like rolling with the punches and like going off the rails? And do you have any stories about improvising or adjusting when the plan didn't go well, or if the plan goes well? What did that look like?
I mean, I think we've been, like we've said, very lucky in our journey of being in creative, because we've had people to make rails for us. We've also learned how to do those things. And I also think we've learned when the idea is so good to drop the original one. And I do think that that is a skill that is hard to learn in the sense of staying on schedule. But I do think, like, I'm trying to think of stories specifically.
I have one of when it, like, we had to adjust. Where we had this one shoot and we drove like an hour to the location. It was like, this is an epic location. We did the scouting. Okay. It was scouted. Okay. We were there. We're in the middle of the farm, and then we get there and it was raining as heck. And then we're like, okay, we've got what do you call the plastic house? What do you call
A gazebo?
A gazebo. Okay, so we set up a gazebo. It was a really well planned shoot. So we're driving to this location. I think it's like 4 vehicles or 3 to 4 vehicles. And then we're like, okay, we've got this giant cross that we're installing.
Okay.
We also have plinths that we're going to put like pieces of like installations on, that like props on.
Okay.
And then we had what's the plastic house again?
A gazebo.
A gazebo. So we had the gazebo for like catering and act and the talent and everything. And then it would not stop raining.
Oh my god!
And like we were
I
like,
was not there for the shoot. I don't remember.
We were like, well, we're here. We don't have any alternatives. Let's just capture what we can.
Okay.
So we still filmed everything that we wanted to.
Okay.
So we recorded
in the rain.
In the rain, but we had umbrellas and the camera guys, and we were all like, like I don't know if I can find a photo, but it was crazy. And then so we were doing all the setup and then the talent was due. So we were there for like maybe an hour earlier than the talent. Okay. Talent arrives. But at that point we were like, it doesn't look like the rain's going to stop. Like, it's actually crazy. Talent arrives. We're talking. Then I'm like, talent, we'll be right with you. And then
just talk amongst yourself.
Yeah. And then go back to the production team. I don't know if I was running that shoot or someone else, but basically talking with our producer and going, I think we need to call it. Like, I think we have to call it because
we're gonna have to do another day.
But I don't know where we're gonna go because this location is really important. And then one of the people on the crew was like, "Oh yeah, there's a hill that could work." And then we look it up and we're like, "Oh my god, that is perfect." And then we did that. Like, I think we did with the next. So lucky that the talent just arrived. So we went back and be like, we're going to have to rebook it because this is crazy. So anyway, we rebook it. We go to the location. It was like right in the city as well. We didn't have to drive an hour and we go and it was perfect.
Amazing.
And it was like basically.
I think that is like the benefit of like having a schedule because you can be like, look, we don't want to waste these guys' time. We're not just going to stand around for hours waiting for the rain to eventually maybe stop. Like you can just call it and be like, we're going to have to do another day. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
And then, maybe that means you add an extra booking day on a camera. But you should know that because you have a schedule.
Because that was one of the things. And we were like, oh, actually, we have this for the next 2 days anyway.
So we can just keep going.
Yeah, so we can keep going. So, that worked. How about you? Do you
I can think of one. It wasn't a project that I was running.
Yeah.
I just remember the girl that was working on it. She was like consulting with me a lot and we're trying to figure it out and she was trying to understand our boss and what he wanted from it. And I was like, girl, I don't even know. Like, I think what you've done is really good. But even I think we both knew that we're like, this is good, but it's not right. And I remember her crying and being like, I just don't know. And like second guessing yourself to get it done. And I think she was running 2 projects. I got given the other one. And my boss and a film guy went to a cafe. 2 hours later, they had the most insane idea. And I was like, how are we going to do this? Like, how are we going to do this? And like, I think they did 4 hours there. No one heard from them. They had there was a bunch of stuff planned on that day. They didn't come back.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? And we'll just worry about them, like just hoping and praying that everything was fine.
Yeah.
And then they came back with something and it was an insane idea. They didn't even have much on paper. Like it was kind of a slight tweak on the initial things that they'd been put together. The initial brand was like very like, pared back, and then this was like darker and like more colorful. And then I just remember seeing it was like all of these like stock images from like astronaut things and like wave patterns and like all this stuff, and they had a new name and it was like, okay, and what are we going to do with it? Oh, we're just going to have a big LED wall in like this room. And we're like, and what room? And then we're like, I guess we can use the room that's right there.
Yeah.
We just need to make sure everything's completely dark.
Thinking about being in a studio as well. Or like hiring
I think in the initial it was going to be like a white space. Like we wanted a clear white space.
But we were talking about like hiring a studio. Yeah.
So
and then we're like, oh, there's actually like a really big giant black room. And we just did that and we like covered it with a bunch of drapes. We had smoke in there. I remember like our boss
it was kind of like towards the end of his time working with us as well. So I knew that he was kind of like thinking about that sort of stuff. Anyway, I was sitting on the floor. There was all this smoke. People, all these casts standing around, like in all these random places. There was like 30 people standing in like these places looking at this big LED screen. And we're just sitting in the corner watching it all come together because we're the designers. So all the film guys are doing things, but we're just sitting there just waiting to be called. And our boss is there with like a lid from a big like Tupperware, and he's just wafting the smoke, and he's like, you guys do nothing, and like making fun of us just sitting around. And I just remember that being like, literally 2 days ago, we didn't have an idea. Yeah. And now we have everything set up and everything's come together. And I think it feels like off the rails because the initial thing wasn't working. And yeah, I think that part is always hard to come to terms with, especially if you love your initial idea. Mm-hmm. Letting go of it can be really difficult. But I also think it kind of comes back to what we talked about in the first episode about trying to learn how to give parts of yourself to your work, as well as the detachment it takes to kind of
allow it to
let things to rest,
to be molded.
Yeah, molded and rested. And especially when you're working for people, like at the end of the day, you are the tool to achieve the end goal. And yeah, if you're an artist and you get the luck of being able to work on your own pieces and take the time that you need to create stuff, I feel for you, because I also know that's just as hard to be your own boss and make those final calls.
No one else
can also
there.
just be as hard.
Yeah.
To be told that's enough is actually sometimes an amazing thing as a creative. That's enough that works, because you know that it's like, well, I don't like it, but you said it was fine, so we can move on.
Yeah.
Versus when you have all the time for you to make those calls.
Yeah.
It can also be the worst. So, with all of that, sometimes when you go off the rails, there is a saying that gets thrown around. We can fix it in post. We can fix it in post.
Yes.
Do you align with the statement? Ooh. Do you not align with the statement? How do you feel about it, Jay?
Once again, depends on what it is that we're trying to fix in post, right? But it is funny. It is funny, mm-hmm. but it depends on how much you hate your editor.
No true words have been said.
Amen. For me, I do think it's funny, so I see the humor in mm-hmm. it. But as far as like how I go through my work, I try to avoid that as mm-hmm. much as possible.
Yeah.
That's why I care about the plan going in. That's why, because then when you have a solid plan, then when you're going to shoot, talking about actually like shoot days, mm-hmm. then when you go shoot, you're thinking, when I go into a shoot, I'm thinking about the editor as well. Because usually I'm the editor. So I'm like, how is this going to make my life easy?
That's a great idea to say fix it in post. I'm going to have to do it. And I don't know how to do it.
And then it's horrible when the way to fix it is to have another shot that you could have done when you were at the shoot itself.
Going back to having a good schedule so you can know if you can fix it in post.
Yeah. How about in design? Is there something where it's like, I'll send this to sign off, and then we'll just hope that we can fix it later?
I don't think that
it applies at all.
because design is so fluid and final consistently.
Yeah.
Fix it in post is the process.
I know, it's definitely a film saying.
It's definitely a film saying. I've definitely heard it in the sense that like we'll fix it later, in the sense that look, right now we just need I've definitely had that where it's like we just need people to know that we're doing this thing. Yeah. So I know that you don't see it's nowhere near finished and all of that sort of stuff, and you want to add grain and you want to add this texture, but we don't have the budget for a year, all of those things. We just need something to tell people it's happening. I've been in those situations, but I also think both of us have been in those situations enough that we know, look, this turnaround is too tight to have our final product that we want. So what we're going to almost plan for this announcement.
We'll deliver an 80%. So that we have more time.
We'll deliver our first thing, and we'll almost use it as like a chapter one what is it? Not
like a teaser,
a prequel to what we're gonna do.
An epilogue.
Yeah, an epilogue. Isn't that the start?
That's epilogue. This is before. Yeah.
That's the end.
An epilogue.
Is it an end in the beginning?
The epilogue is the before.
Oh, I thought it was the end. Anyways, I think like that.
Prologue.
Prologue. Yeah, see, I was
Oh,
like,
no,
I
one
thought
of those.
epilogue is the back, right?
I thought epilogue is at the start.
Maybe it's a both. I don't know. I don't know English. You do. Anyway, so I think there is definitely that part of like finagling something so that you have something when you need it. Is definitely a part of the process. You know, just getting the social media image out is maybe a little bit of a cut to the heart, but like you've got people informed, which is the most important part. Like especially on the design front, it is about communication. First of all, I think in the film process you can use alluding to things and all the subtext that comes with being in a moving medium. But when you are in design, at the end of the day, people just need to know what time they need to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually was reminded of another fix it in post situation, because I was gonna say also budget is a big part of it as well. Like that, whether you can say like, yeah, sure, you can say fix it in post. Not that we've experienced this really, but like you can say fix it in post, but like if you don't have the budget to do that, then you just need to do the thing good today.
Yeah.
Usually it might be like audio stuff where it's like, oh, we'll fix it in post, but that is actually so hard. So like we've had an experience where we filmed it. I don't think we realized until after that the audio was bung. So it's not like in the moment we were like, well, it's stupid, let's fix it in post.
Yeah.
But we ended up having to fix it in post, and it was okay. Like I think when I was watching the video back with people when it was finally out, they didn't notice. But I was like, I think everyone who was involved with having to dub over the like it's actually like people are talking to each other, that's the shot, and then they have to dub over it in the studio. Sorry, microphone.
I mean, I will say that as someone who's not Filipino, being introduced to Filipino work, that is something that Jay has continuously had to be like, it both is what I know because I've seen it so many times before, and also grating to my soul to see people be so lip syncing themselves.
Yeah, it's like I can imagine why it happens in like Philippine cinema of like where they always ADR conversations.
Not in a different language. They're dubbing themselves.
Yeah, they're like voicing it with the same conversation, and
it's everything, but it's just I guess they couldn't use the audio from the shoot.
Yeah, and I can imagine it's because like there's only so much you can do about sound. Yeah. So I know that that's the case, but yeah, that was it. Particularly being involved in a project where like we had to do it. There was no other way around it, and it's like sometimes fixing it in post is not the solution. I mean, as much as you can, if you can,
I mean, sometimes just to say one last thing, fix it in post can be less fix it and planning to do it in post. Like I think there's definitely been times where we're like, we don't have the lens for that. I guess we'll do it in post. Yeah. And we will zoom in post.
We'll zoom it in.
And we'll add motion blur in post. Yeah. We'll add a wiggle effect and then we'll put motion blur on it, and it's a video, but and I think that is also, kind of going back to finding inspiration. Part of that is learning the processes that you have at your disposal in the post process so that you can bring that into your planning process. So where it's like, actually buying that whole rig to do this one shot, let's just do it in post. Let's fix it in post and we'll do it in post. That is maybe the world that we all want to be in.
Amazing. Okay, so that actually brings us to the end of our third episode of the pod, and we're gonna roll. Reminder: we're rolling 2 D10s.
These are our cute cards with all of our questions on them.
We're rolling D100, and then whatever it is, we're gonna answer a quick fire question. Ready, set, go.
Go.
68.
68. So we're on this page. What's one insecurity you're still working through? Damn. God. What's an insecurity?
God, I'm not insecure at all.
No, I just don't know what I have. What's an insecurity?
Maybe that the thing I'm making doesn't matter.
Oh, damn.
I know. Okay, that's a deep cut. How about you? Is there something? Please have something.
I don't like my hair at the moment. I want to cut it off.
Okay, I love that. What a great contrast.
But I need to wait till I have to cut it off.
Not an insecurity with yourself, but with your work.
Okay, but I was thinking myself because my work is amazing.
Okay, great. So, okay, you're wrong.
Okay, my turn. My turn to roll
Rough,
the D100.
What did?
So 9. Okay, I got 96, y'all.
Are you chaotic or calculated? We're gonna say at the same time what we are. 3, 2, 1.
Calculated?
Yeah. If
I'm a chaotic personality,
any-
but if it's to do with my work,
yeah, probably in life.
like if something was actually chaotic, I don't want to be there.
Yeah. Same.
That's not fun for me. I guess that's the end of the episode. Bye.
Bye. Well, that is another episode down. We hope you can relate to any of those ramblings that we've had about our creative process. It keeps changing and it's taken years to also learn, and we've got room to grow, right?
Heaps of room to grow. And I guess that's also why we're here, right? Like
Yeah.
to grow together.
Yes.
And maybe give you some insight so that you don't have to learn the way we did, which is
yeah.
a lot of falling over.
Or you don't feel alone.
Yeah, for sure. And in saying that, we'd love to see you in the comments or come visit us on all our platforms, Instagram, TikTok. Say your feelings about this episode. We'd love to hear about you and your process. Do you think you can fix it in post? Do you usually just fix it in post?
Do you...
There's no right or wrong way to be creative.
Yeah.
So that's what we have for this episode. Yeah.
See you next time.
Bye.